5. Yep. I think that's it. I think I'm right on. In Semper's Bunkhole channel, YouTube, for the first time. Yes. See who pops in here. See who the first one is to pop in. Meantime, I'm going to try this experiment here. Oh, thin blue lines. This. Look at that head right there, right? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mirror this up here at my channel. For some reason, I think that that's right. Hey, I'm over at Semper's Bunkhole on YouTube. If you are in the Underground Auditors channel, I am mirroring it, and I am actually in Semper's Bunkhole for the first time. Cajun Randy 214, good morning to you. Good morning. It's strange because I'm looking at Semper's Bunkhole up here, and I know it's Semper's Bunkhole because I am in Semper's Bunkhole. You think that you were maliciously flagged? Oh no. Who would maliciously? Then Blue Line Slayer, he doesn't have the power to. Well, I'm going to give him the power to right now. There you go. Racing Randy, okay, I'm going to go ahead and add you as a moderator. If you are over at the Underground Auditors channel, that's a mirror. Come on over to Semper's Bunkhole on YouTube. I wonder what happened to you, Racing Randy. I could give you a mod chip. Yeah. Good morning, all. Welcome to Semper's Bunkhole, the very, very first show in Semper's Bunkhole YouTube channel. But that's all right. I got a story for you. I'm still going to call you Racing Randy. I don't care. Unless you want me to call you Cajun Randy. I like Racing Randy. But anyhow, I have a story coming up for you, Racing Randy. Yeah. You'll like it. I'm hoping. Too many haters. Yeah. All right, if you or let me figure something out up here. Let me go up here. I want to do something. Okay. Because I'm actually mirroring my other channel just to make sure that people know I'm over here at Semper's Bunkhole. And let me go over here and what's I going to do? It's all convoluted because I know I'm on Semper's Bunkhole. But if I go over there, no, I ain't even going to try it. I'm just going to assume that the people that are over at the Underground Auditor are going to understand that we're over here at Semper's Bunkhole. In Semper's Bunkhole. Yeah. That Racing Randy said, that's fine, Semperfy. That's fine. You still call me Racing Randy. That's what I know you from as. I mean, I do have over there mirrored in the description that in the Underground Auditors channel, I am mirroring Semper's Bunkhole. So if you're in the Underground Auditors channel, come over here into Semper's Bunkhole. And guess what? Carolina Auditor made it. Good morning, Carolina Auditor. We're going to go out auditing. I got something planned for this week, Carolina Auditor. You're going to love it, man. You're going to love it. It's louder there. Is my microphone too loud? Give me a thumbs up if it's all right. Thumbs down if it's too... Okay, do it this way. Give me a 5 by 5 if I'm good. Or give me a 1 if I'm good. Give me a 2 if I'm not. Or however you want to do it. Carolina got me all messed up with that. It's louder here. What? Let me, yeah. Carolina Auditor says it's good. Thumbs up. Good Blue Line Slayer says thumbs up. Yeah, I think it's right. I think it's right. Too low on the other channel. Carolina Auditor, you're messing with me, aren't you? You're messing with me. Thanks, Racing Randy. Good, good. I'm glad. I have a really good show for you today. I mean, or this morning. I have I think, a really funny, educational, good show today. I'm really looking forward to this show. So now that we have the most important people in, and down here in Semper's Bunkhole, 300 feet deep, safe from any doomsday. Magnetic pole shifts of the earth. You know, if that happens, what's going to happen to me is I'm just going to be on the other side of the planet. What's going to happen to you? You're all going to be gone, obliviated. You're going to be gone, wiped off the planet. I'm just going to be on the other side. Carolina Auditor. Let's just stop talking about channels at all. Oh, this channel is lower than the other channel. You know, I don't know if you're talking about Semper's Bunkhole's channel or or the Underground Auditors channel. But I'm not going to worry about the Underground Auditors channel, because if you're over at the Underground Auditors channel, you know by now that we're not over there. We are over here in Semper's Bunkhole, 300 feet deep, safe from FBI prying eyes, secure from NSA eavesdropping. I never open up the hatch to the police at all. Never, ever open up the hatch. So, now that everybody of importance is in here today, somebody sent me a video, and I have not watched it yet. But they said that it is super duper patriotic. Are you all in a patriotic mood today? Because I am. Because the whole show is going to emphasize patriotism. We're going to learn some things about the judicial system. Yes, yes. Get it? Are we? Yeah. Racing Randy says yes. He's patriotic today. Thin Blue Line says, can you open up the hatch for me today, because I'm knocking. Sure, come on in. Okay. So somebody sent me this and they tagged it or whatever. Super patriotic. So everybody got their patriotic hats on, right? Patriotic hats. If you don't have a hat, I would imagine all you would need to do is put your hand over your heart. Okay, and excuse me, I'm going to sit through this because I have to organize things and all of that. I might stand. I'll stand. No, I'll stand. But so everybody get ready for this. The judicial system sucks. That's right, Carolina Auditor. But right now we're thinking patriotic. Everybody get their flag out. Okay, here we go.
Oh, see, can you see by the dawn's early light was so held twilight at the last gleaming looked right, and the rocket's red glare, bombs bursting in air, gave to the night that the stars were still there, or still yet wait, brave and the home of the free. Join me in prayer, please.
All right. And they said he'd be all choked up. He did say that you'd be all choked up over that one. It would. I don't know what the man was singing about, but he gave it one good attempt. Carolina Auditor said we need a lot of prayer after that. Yeah, we do. Wow. I mean, then Blue Line Sarah says, what the hell is he singing? Let's make up words now. That's right. That's all you have to do. That is all you have to do. That's all. Okay, we have 5 current viewers in here, and I know that Carolina Auditor's in here. Ancient Drummer, how are you doing today? Welcome to Semper's Bunkhole. Thin Blue Line Slayer and Racing Randy. If you're over at the Underground Auditors channel, come over to Semper's Bunkhole here on YouTube. We are over here. I'm mirroring from my other computer here. So I'm actually streaming 2 live streams right now, one on my other computer mirroring from the Underground Auditor, and one live here. So if you're over there, come over here. I know it gets confusing. It does. Oh, yeah. If I spew a bunch of bullshit, does that make me patriotic? Then Blue Line Slayer says. I don't know, man. I mean, he had me at the first couple words. He had me. I was thinking, oh, this is gonna be good. Staying dry. Yeah, I'm staying dry. I stay dry except for one tunnel. And we're gonna get out of here because I have a very busy itinerary for you people. Let's get out of here. Yes, I said let's get out of here. We are going. Yeah. We're going to the horticulture room. Welcome to the horticulture room. Isn't it beautiful? Gorgeous. Ancient Drummer said, wow, he was playing the drums for that song. Yes. Right? Get them paradiddles in there, drummer. Get them paradiddles. Paradiddle. Get them in there. You got to get a paradiddle in there every once in a while. Yes, he did butcher it. He did butcher it. But I was still waving my flag. Did you see me? I was still waving my flag. Racing Randy, do you want a banana? You what? Do you want a banana? Okay, do you want a banana? There. Go ahead. Take a bite out of the banana, Racing Randy. Take a big bite. Anybody else want a bite? Does anybody else want a bite of banana? It was picked just today. Yes, just today. Carolina Otter is going through the car wash. And Carolina Auditor likes going through them car washes with the half-naked ladies and all of that, with all the bubbles floating around. And yeah, that's why he washes his car so much. He lies to me. He says, no, I go through the automated machine. I said, you can't. You wash your vehicle way too much, Carolina Auditor. You have a reason to go to that daggum car wash. Then Blue Line Slayer says he needs Pup Dog to bring him some smoke. Pup Dog, go ahead. Mail it to him. Get his address. Hey, Thick Blue Line Slayer, hang on the line. Hang on the line, and Pup Dog will get your info. Pup Dog will get your info. But, you know, what's even better is I have breaking news. Yes, in Virginia. Did everybody see in Virginia? Okay. I'm going to give everybody a guess. What happened in Virginia just the other day? We're in my horticulture room where I grow banana trees. What just happened in Virginia? Tell me. What did they just legalize the planting of carrots? They said carrots are now legal to plant. Did they say that? No, I don't think it was carrots. Peppers? Was it peppers? They allow you to grow peppers in Virginia right now? Yeah, I think it was peppers. Ding, 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 ding. The legalization of marijuana. Breaking news. Breaking news.
Good evening, everyone. Our top story: marijuana is now legal. Legal in Quahog, and it's made everything just so great. Good evening, everyone. Our top story: marijuana is now legal. Legal in Quahog, and it's made everything just so great. Good evening, everyone. Our top story: marijuana is now legal. Legal in Quahog, and it's made everything just so great. Good evening, everyone. Our top story: marijuana is now legal. Legal in Quahog.
Now they just need to make it legal federally. They need to let people grow the tomato without any interference. Without any interference. But sadly today, our show, well, my show, our show, because it is our show, our show is pertaining to illicit substances, but I can't explain exactly right now because we're in the horticulture room. So let me just let me reach up high today. There. Whoo! Whoo! Man. That down there? Okay. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Our top story, marijuana is now legal. Legal in Quahog. And it's made everything just so great. Good evening, everyone. Our top story, marijuana is now legal.
Yeah.
Legal in Quahog.
Legal.
And it's made everything just so great. Good evening.
So great. Are we done in here? Or are we done? Yes, we are done in the heart. Hey, pup. Then Blue Line Slayer we're going to police precinct 13, pup. You want to come? Hey, pup, you want to go to police precinct 13 with us?
Smoke weed every day.
Pup, come on, pup. Come on, pup. Let's go. Let's go to police precinct 13. Come on, Thin Blue Line Slayer. Racing Randy, let's head over to PP 13, okay? All right. Good. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, Racing Randy. Oh. Carolina Auditor, step over that. Oh, pardon me. Man, I tell you. Here we are at PP 13. That's right. I'm sorry about that tunnel, folks, man. I know it's not very nice going through that tunnel every Monday morning, but hey, I can't help it. It's the first tunnel I dug. Yeah. So, as we talked about, there was a cat down in there was a cat up in the police precinct 13. But anyhow, as we were discussing, we were talking about marijuana. Not specifically about marijuana, but federal laws when it pertains to what they could do to you whenever you're traveling. Okay, I'm going to get closer and closer to the subject matter by which we are going to explore in the law library. But first, we got to get through Police Precinct 13, the most unlucky police department in the country, if not the stupidest police department in the world. They pull you over for the easiest thing. They pull you over for not even anything most of the time. And they can say they can lie. They're allowed to lie. So, whenever you see Police Precinct 13, you wonder how in the world they could pull you over and feel good about it. Let's go up to Police Precinct. Oh, no. Please, you can't keep they can't keep two tires on the road. He's all right. He's all right. Unfortunately, I mean, he's all right. He's all right. No, Pup doesn't like the pigs at all. That's why he's buried deep in Semper's bunkhole. Okay, PP13, they can't even keep two tires on the road, and they're going to pull you over for stupid shit. I'm telling you. I think that they need to be more severe with people on the road, right? What do you think? They need to enforce more traffic laws. They need to pull everybody over. Failure to maintain control is a $350 fine. Very good, Racing Randy. Very good. That's using your noggin. That's right. Let's watch it again. Oh, no. You have not seen the worst of it yet. No. Like I said, they cannot keep two wheels on the ground up there on PP13. They just can't do it. PP13. There's just some fucked up units.
Hell yeah! Bust his ass! That's what the you think you ass!
When you turn that fucking corner. Yeah.
Ready to kill him!
Then they have the nerve to pull you over, right? The guy, he's trying to impress the ladies. You know that. He's like, here's a inner city PP13. This guy is on the inside of the. He probably wants to be like some kind of investigator one of these days. He's trying to impress the ladies, is what he's trying to do. Watch me ride this dirt bike. The man's never been on a dirt bike in his life. Let's watch it again. The only thing he impressed was the pavement. That Blue Line Slayer, that's funny.
When you turn that fucking corner. Yeah.
Ready to kill him!
And I'm telling you, did you see that car that pulled out right there? Who do you think was in that car? He pulled out right there. I think that was Carolina Auditor. Laura Peterson, how are you doing today? You know what? I need to start giving them mod ships. Give me. I'm going to give you a mod ship right there. Who doesn't? Racing Randy got a mod ship. Let's go. Carolina Auditor needs a mod ship. Ancient Drummer. I love Ancient Drummer mod ship. Okay. So, I'm getting to a point here, folks. I'm getting to a point. No. Did you hear the ladies? Sorry, Laura. Yeah, he did want to. Yeah, I guess he did want to prove something to the guys too. Yeah, but then Blue Line Slayer said, you know, he impressed. He was impressed upon the pavement. he, he hey, Thin Blue Line Slayer, Pup Dog said he's going to get it to you, okay? All right. Yep, that's right. Showing up for his guy pals, I agree. But, here's the deal. They can't keep two wheels on the pavement, none of them. They pull you over for the most nitty gritty thing, knowing that they're going to sniff the dog around your car. And the dog is only good 50% of the time at most. And it's just ridiculous. Dogs are just so ridiculous. Dogs are stupid. They're just so. You throw a dog a toy, he's gonna do what you want him to do. You just tug a dog. You work with a dog. He gets. All you have to do is. Dogs are so stupid, but they're stupid. They react to a base instinct. You reward them for doing something. So you point somewhere and then you reward them by scratching the back of their head after the fact. Behind the scenes, Carolina, how are you doing this fine morning? I give you a mod ship too. Okay. So, as I was getting to this, and traffic laws, yes. I'm getting closer and closer to the subject matter at hand. They will pull you over for the most stupidest reasons. For example, this gentleman. Uh-oh. He got him. What do you think he's going to do, folks? Lion 1, good morning to you. What do you think he's going to do, folks?
And he does come into a rescue situation where that job is winnable, obviously, for him day one, should he want to. Or if they think it's better to develop him, it's not a big deal. That case, Keenum, go in and play for a little while. And I think develop.
Precinct 13, what do you think he's going to do?
County 489 traffic stop.
Another fine example of PP13 right here. Is he going to hammer this guy? Is he going to thump him?
First block of 50.
Shoot him? If he's going to shoot him, give me a 1. He's obviously drunk. You think he's going to run him through a DUI? Give me a 2 for DUI.
You think you're doing blowing my horn?
Sir, go back into your car. I'll be with you in a second.
You better check the registration on this plate soon, mister.
Oh, kiss him. Laura Peterson, I think he's going to kiss him. Oh, you think he's going to be a stupid piece of shit asshole we all know them as? You think so, Thin Blue Line Slayer? I don't know. Gage? Palin? Or Hallen? Gage Hallen. How are you doing this morning? What do you think he's going to do?
Have a good day, Judge. You bet.
What? What? Huh? Huh? What? Equal treatment under the law? Well, I don't get that. Did he just say, have a nice day, Judge? Maybe he didn't know that, Judge. Rookie cop. He was a rookie cop. I'm telling you, because I'll tell you why. He ain't never been in front of that judge before. Probably second day on the job, right? He's gonna press, he got a Cadillac, he's pulled over, right? He's like, yes, my first ticket. Right, my first ticket. and it's a judge. My luck, right? Right. That's funny. You just wonder why police up there, police precinct 13, can do anything right. They just must be pulling their hair out up there. Yes, Racing Randy says, so it's okay not to cite a judge and for this judge to fine others. Now, do you think that judge would give any other person the common courtesy like that? If that person stepped up to him and said, hey, you better find out who I am, mister, before you go any further. If you stepped up to a judge and said, let me tell you something, mister, you better know who you're fucking with. You'd think he'd be like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, I am so sorry, Semper. Mr. Semper. No. Can you imagine if it were Judge Judy, Laura Peterson? Do you think that he would have let Judge Judy go? Or no? Do you think he would have let Judge Judy go? No? I think he would have let Judge Judy go. I think he would have let Judge Judy go. I wouldn't. All right. So then police up there, police precinct 13, they can't stay on their motorcycles. They can't abide by the street laws. They can't even keep anybody held accountable up there. Nobody. They must be just literally pulling their hair out. Uh-oh. Yeah, he had to let the judge go. But he's not gonna let this one go. What do you think this young officer's gonna do? Uh-oh. What's he gonna do? Is he gonna give this driver the same common courtesy as he gave the judge? I don't know. Maybe. But maybe the judge really made him mad. Maybe the judge really pissed him off.
Hey, can I just ask you why you're riding their butt like that and speeding, man?
I'm running his license plate because everybody else is speeding. Why are you speeding?
I was only going 60.
Speed limit's 40.
50.
The signs.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Do
All
yourself
right.
a favor. Oh, give me the weed, too.
No, I have a...
Yeah,
I have a medical marijuana card.
Step out.
I have a card.
Step out.
All right, stop, man.
You want to fucking run your mouth? No problem. You came to the right guy. Step out.
All right, stop.
Come on.
Stop.
Hands, please. Front back. Anything sharp?
No, sir.
Where's the marijuana?
I have it in my car, but I have
Where's
a
the
weed
card?
card. I have a weed card.
6 feet apart. Right now, you're just being
Yeah.
detained. You're not under arrest.
All right.
I think there's a double standard here.
See, the blue car
Yeah, which one?
was tailing me.
Yeah.
While I was pacing a tractor trailer looking for a motor vehicle violation because the
Okay.
governor's office has gotten multiple complaints on
It's
traffic
all right,
stops.
folks.
I know.
Okay?
I know that.
So we're out doing our thing.
Okay.
He decides to pass me and flip me off.
All right, Speedy, I'm sorry.
All right?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So who the fuck do you think you are worried about what I'm doing?
Okay. You're right.
I know I'm right, goddammit. Get the fuck down.
We got a camera on the scene, folks.
Everyone's got something to fucking say. Mind your own goddamn business. You're fucking speeding. How would I start with that? No shit. I was following that kid for a reason. And if you hadn't done that fucking stupid stunt, I'd be with him right now. But no, you just couldn't leave it alone, could you? You had to be a fucking American. God help you if there's anything illegal in this car. Is it in the original dispensary container? Is it in the original dispensary container? No. Then you're fucked! How's that sound? No shit! Mind your own fucking business next time! Yeah, it's called shut the fuck up! I was driving along, I was gonna head to a simple citation that I give, but no! You gotta be, you just couldn't fucking shut your mouth. Where you going anyway? Where do you work? Where?
It's called American Pulp.
What's that?
It's a
paper?
Yeah, you know, like the liquor bottles and stuff that the shit comes in, like the trays.
PP-13 police are tough, aren't they? To the right people.
Honest to goodness. And it's all right here in my glove box right here.
You ever heard of what a heat seeker is? No. A heat seeker is something that draws attention to itself. Heat-seeking missiles, they go for the heat. Sit the fuck down. Did I tell you to move? Why am I speeding? I'm doing my fucking job. Connecticut General Statute 14-298 allows law enforcement officers to disregard the traffic laws in the performance of their duties. How the fuck am I going to catch a speeder if I'm not speeding? You late for your job at NASA with physics?
You're right, man.
Where do you want this? Doesn't get trashed?
That's my lunch.
I can tell. I don't want to get ruined. Unfucking believable. It just never fucking ends in this fucking job. I had 14 months. I can't fucking wait to be done.
Carolina.
This ought to tell you why our department, instead of having 1,300, has 850 right now. There's a fucking clue to the public. What a bunch of assholes you are.
Yeah, we're assholes. All right. I still have a camera out there, folks. Still have a camera out there.
Right there. You want it on paper or not? Is it in the original dispensary container? No shit. Turn around. Everything across you make Look at me. Do I look like I'm happy with you right now? Shut your fucking mouth.
Damn the man.
Be on your way. Don't you ever fuck with me again.
Hey, can you be safe?
See? See? He treated him this day. He let him go. He let the judge go. He let this guy go. He's pissed off about it, but I mean, right? He let that guy go and he let the judge go. Maybe PP-13 is all right. I mean, he did verbally abuse the guy a little bit, but the First Amendment says that everybody has the right to freedom of speech, right? Even the cops. I hear it all the time. Cops have a right to free speech. Yeah, the cops also have the right to flat out lie to you, too. Yeah, he was out of control. He was out of control. How to get on YouTube if you're a crazy officer 101. That's right, Lion 1. That's right. That's right. All right. So if you're over there at the Underground Auditor, if I'm still on over there at the Underground Auditor, we are all over at Semper's Bunkhole on the other YouTube channel. So come over here. I'm trying to mirror it, I guess. I don't know how well it's working. Pepperoni Audits, how are you doing? Let me give some wrenches. Pepperoni Audit, I'm going to give you a wrench. Tam the man, I'll give you a wrench. Yeah. So I'm still trying. See. Where's it at? I'm still wondering why I'm still wondering what this kid is carrying. What was this kid carrying? A beer? Think he was carrying a beer. He's wearing a daggum crown. He's wearing a crown. So he just came back from his birthday, I'm sure. I think it was, what do you think that was? I'll let you try to take a guess. You want to see it again? See it again? I think it's a bottle of Budweiser. That was a bottle of Budweiser for sure. Yeah, it sounds like he swallowed the whole thing. Poor kid. King of beers must have been Budweiser. That's right. That's right. Let's take one more look at it. You think it was a root beer, Laura? Laura Peterson thinks it was a root beer. You know, you feel for the kid, right? Yeah. Page, he said that was his last beer and it's mine. I think it was cream ale. That's what I think it was. I think it was cream ale. I think it was cream ale. IBC root beer. I think it was IBC cream ale. I'm sorry, cream soda. Sorry, cream soda, not cream ale. Cream soda. IBC cream soda. Birch beer. Laura Peterson said birch beer. Yeah, could have been birch beer. Could have been. All right. We're going to go over to the law library. Now we're going to get to, hey, HPR, I got to get to, I'm going to give you a wrench. I'm going to give you a wrench. Okay. Now, this is where I tend to geek out. Let's get the hell out of PP13. It's too dumb for me. PP13 is just way too dumb for me. So let's go to the law library. All right, here we are at Semper's Law Library. Isn't it beautiful? There, all the way around. From Egyptian, Mesopotamian, all the way up to the Magna Carta, clear up to present day law. That bent, this bent, no, that's all right. It's all right. You got through it fine, HPR. You got through it fine. Yes, I agree, Laura. I don't usually drink soda, but when I do, it's the best. Yeah, it's cream soda. Yeah, that's right. But we are all in Semper's Law Library, and something just has been gnawing at me. And Racing Randy, I told you earlier that I have a story that you would kind of like, and here's where we're going to get to it. So I'm just going to dive into it. I'm not going to do any more explaining, for goodness gracious. So let's see if this works. All right. Racing Randy says cream soda goes great with a moon pie. A Florida woman got a DUI while riding her horse. But the horse is about to get the consequences. Did anybody see this story of probably 2, 3, 4 years ago? All right, we'll read the story. A Florida woman may wave goodbye to her horse after receiving a DUI on the animal. In November, Donna Brines, 53, was arrested in Lakeland after a passerby told deputies in the Polk County Sheriff's Office that her life was in danger. Deputies conducted a field sobriety test, and Byron, who was riding the horse in the road, the test on Brian, who was riding her horse in the road. Her blood alcohol content level was twice the legal limit. She was charged with the DUI and animal neglect. Sheriff's Office spokesman Buck Bracci explained that the second charge came about as Byron's horse, later revealed to be named Bo Duke, was in jeopardy of being injured or killed. Over New Year's weekend, Polk County Judge Sharon Franklin ruled that Byron was unfit to keep her horse and must forfeit custody of the animal. Bo Duke will remain in the care of the sheriff's office. Franklin also informed that Byron must complete treatment related to alcohol addiction. Byron's attorney, Mr. Wisenhunt, or Attorney Wisenhunt, has taken issue with both the DUI charge and the ruling about her horse. Wisenhunt decided to take Byron's case pro bono upon hearing the news while out of state. He expressed issue with the DUI charge brought against Byron, believing that a horse does not qualify as a machine quite in the same way as a vehicle. Are you getting where I'm going now? But, as WFLA noted, machines, quote, can include things such as bicycles and mopeds. Whatever this is, it isn't a DUI, he said. By law, a horse rider on the side of the road is to be treated as a pedestrian, and a pedestrian can't readily be DUI. Mrs. Byron was obviously not in any condition to be on the road, argued Sheriff Grady Judd after her arrest. She not only put herself and the horse in danger, but also anyone who was driving on the roads, which is typically very busy. Sounds like horse shit. That's right, Lion One. Very good. Note, do not ride your dog drunk. Yeah, that's right. Don't ever ride your dog anyways. You can be sure of one thing, we're going to arrest you for DUI if you're weaving on your horse, she later added. Wisenhunt will also address the custody of Bo Duke in a hearing scheduled on January 11th. Since the incident, Byrne has stated that her life has been difficult. I feel like I'm under house arrest. I feel like I can't go anywhere, said Byrne. From a friend's small Polk County City apartment, some people are staring at me. I got some people that are wanting to pick a fight, and I don't want to go out there and fight anybody. She is certainly not the first to obtain a DUI while using a mode of transportation other than a car. Kenneth Olsenhouse of Port St. Lucie, Florida, received a DUI while driving his lawnmower drunk. All right. So, whenever I often thought about how the police can pull you over and ask you for your papers and search your car, the natural question that I started to ask is, well, were they always able to just accost you while riding a buggy? Before automobiles? Before the internal combustion engine? Before the steam engine? Before any of that? Horse and buggy, could they just the police pull you alongside the road and say, let me see your identification? And if they did, say back in the Wild West days, and if they did, would they have needed probable cause, or how did that work, right? Does anybody think that way? And that's right, Laura Peterson. She says, I thought horses knew the roads. Drunken cowboys in movies always got home. That's right. That's what I said. But the problem is the woman rode the horse 12 miles at that point. And I said to myself, she doesn't look like a hardened criminal, but she had a history. A really bad history, felony, animal cruelty, and all of that. And yeah, see, Racing Randy, I thought that myself, Semper Fi. I know you would think something like that, Racing Randy, since you're an, what do they call them? Aquarian. Horses? People got horses? Equestrians. Right, equestrians. You're an equestrian. You would often think, well, how did they just willy-nilly be able to pull you off your horse, for example? Was there a horse speed limit? I'm sure there was in towns. Equestrian, that's right. Thank you, Racing Randy. Thank you, Laura. Sometimes I babble my words. All right. So, here in North Carolina, here's where we get into the weeds, folks. So, if you like to be in the weeds, we're going to try to find the answer to a few questions. And if you have any answers to me that I have about this, or you have any observations, please let me know. Okay, here in North Carolina criminal law, North Carolina School of Government blog. Okay, what I have to do is I have to go over here first. Resize that so that everybody could see it. There we go. Horses are vehicles. According to our state court of appeals in State versus Dillinger, 1985, the court upheld that the defendant's conviction for impaired driving based upon his riding a horse on a street with an alcohol concentration of 0.18. The court responded, rendered traffic law applicable to the person riding an animal or driving an animal, pulling a vehicle on a highway. So the Amish, and like in Pennsylvania, have to abide by the laws. And now the Amish have them really bright, flashy lights. They're really, they're really bright. Does a horse have to pass smog? Okay, don't know that. But the legislature defines the term vehicle in broad terms. GS 20-4.01, subsection 49. This broad definition reflects the legislature's intent that horses are vehicles within the meaning of GS 20-138.1. The statute prohibits impaired driving. But you're not driving. You are like not even steering. You're guiding. What would you are you driving a horse, or are you like just riding it? I mean, a horse pretty much is its own. It has a brain, right? Do you think that, right? It has a brain, so you're not driving it. It's more driving you. It's driving you. But that's just me. Whatever the view of the legislature pre-Dellinger, the August body acted a few years later to express its then current determination that a person should not be convicted of impaired driving for riding a horse or a bicycle or a lawnmower while impaired. All right. So what they said was, yes, it is a vehicle. So we move on, and now it brings me back to, well, has it always been a vehicle? And that really doesn't answer my question. It really focuses more on DUIs. Can the police just, if you aren't suspected of a crime, say your horse takes a crap on the sidewalk, the side of the street, and the cop wants to pull you over and cite you for littering, can he then ask you for identification, a driver's license? That's the question. That's the question I'm asking. Not a DUI, an obvious, the guy's like hanging off the freaking horse, something obvious. Just a guy or a woman or a person just walking down, riding down the side of the road, and the cop decides to be a butthole. Okay, so according to this statute, but it pertains to DUIs. Do it falls under the same guidelines? Horses is a vehicle? You would think it does, because now that Laura Peterson, that's what another good question that I had. So, but it defines legs in the statute here. It defines legs as you can't be charged with DUI on legs. There are other statutes in the criminal code pertaining to you on two legs, which is like drunken in public and stuff like that. Okay, and that is more of a, not a disorderly, but it's drunken. It isn't even disorderly. Drunk. I mean, but we ain't going there. Not yet. I'm trying to get to the point where when is it defined as a motor vehicle, and when isn't it? Is it only defined as a motor vehicle whenever you get a DUI stop, or like I said, your horse poops and the police officer decides to be a butthole and cite you for that poop on the sidewalk or on the road? Sorry. Racing Randy says he thinks that I misunderstood the second paragraph. Okay, either way, it still pertains to DUI. I don't see where I'm erring, but I'll reread that and mull it over. Yes, public intoxication, Laura. So, again, would it be no different than pulling somebody over in a vehicle? The only difference is you're pulling somebody over on a horse or in a buggy. For some nefarious reason or purpose. I don't know. I'm sure it's happened. I'm sure a cop probably pulled an Amish person over at one time or another, right? You would think. Just to be a dick or whatever. I don't know. Let me see your identification, sir. And there's the guy with the hat on and the big beard. Step out of the cart. Okay, so I had to go back and to answer any of these questions pertaining to travel. And this is where it gets even deeper into the weeds. And bear with me, folks. We're going to get into the weeds. Okay. Let me resize. Here we have the Judiciary Act of 1789. A very, very famous act. It is the bedrock act of the judicial system. After the Constitution was signed, we needed to figure out exactly how we're going to set up courts and to adjudicate crimes. And most of the time, at first, the courts were set up to handle constitutional question amongst the states. How to set up state legislatures, elections, and all of that. How to set up judicial systems in states, federal judicial systems in states, and all of that. It also set up the Supreme Court, the Judiciary Act of 1789. And at the time, you had the Federalists, you had the Alexander Hamiltons who wanted a strong federal government. And I'm getting to the public intoxication, but we have to go back to the Judicial Act of 1789 to fully understand. Okay, so you had Alexander Hamilton and them Federalists who wanted a strong federal government. And then you had the Jeffersonians, the Jeffersons, that wanted a limited federal government. Especially when it came to dealing with the public and the rights that the judicial branch can possibly take from you. So it was vitally important that we have less judicial oversight of the population about constitutional rights like speech and weapons and all of that. But the Federalists won. Yes, the Bill of Rights was passed. And the right to freedom of speech and all of that good stuff. But they set up a judiciary that was going to oversee these rights. And inside this judiciary, and here we get to another reason why they passed this act, for taxation. Because you needed a body of law, you needed a judicial system to ferret out any disputes about how to raise money as the federal government. And who's going to determine if they could tax, if they can't tax? The very first federal way to make money was lotteries. The federal government started the first lotteries in this country. A tax on stupid people, thinking that they're going to get more money by watching balls drop or a draw of numbers in hopes that they're going to make twice, 3 times the amount of money. But no, most of the time, people lost. And the reason why our federal government set it up that way for lotteries is because they needed to pay for the Revolutionary War. They needed to pay the debt from that war. That's what they say. So in 1789, the Judiciary Act created the first alcohol, tobacco, and firearm agency. It created revenuers. This was the precursor to the Secret Service. But the revenuers in 1789 and the tariffs that were imposed in the Judiciary Act were tariffs on foreign goods, specifically wines and spirits. So in 1789, under the Judiciary Act, we have the first establishment, the first laws that tax a spirit, in essence, a form of prohibition of alcohol. They needed to raise money to pay for the Revolutionary War, so they said that they're going to tax imports of wines and whiskeys and tobacco. Well, not tobacco, but tobacco is here. They ain't going over Europe, but we're getting to that. Okay, so do we got that straight, folks? Do we have that straight, or did I get too deep into the rabbit hole? So let's move over to the Bureau of Alcohol and Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives website. And they have a beautiful timeline history of when they got their powers to do what they want to do to you. And as you can see here, right here, all starts July 31st, 1789. You move over the Domestic Tax on Alcohol and Tobacco Act of 1791. It says here, despite negative public response to the 1789 Import Tax Act, congressional lawmakers decided to establish taxes on domestic spirits. In 1792, the newly formed U.S. Congress needs revenue to pay debts accumulated by the colonies during the Revolutionary War. In response, taxes are imposed on both imported and domestic distilled spirits, as well as other goods. Do you get it? Do you see where I am going here? So we just got done fighting the Revolutionary War on what? Taxation without representation. So, in 1791, the federal government the judiciary and Congress got together and said, we're going to import you whiskey manufacturers. And it created the Whiskey Rebellion. Has anybody ever heard of the Whiskey Rebellion? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The Whiskey Rebellion. Here's how it went. The Whiskey Rebellion, also known as the Whiskey Insurrection, was a tax protest in the United States beginning in 1791 and ending in 1794 during the presidency of the lovely, the honorable, the King George Washington. Federalist. Bad guy. Alexander Hamilton, bad guy. Ultimately, under the command of American Revolutionary War veteran Major James McFarland, the so-called whiskey tax was the first tax imposed on the domestic production by the newly formed federal government. Beer was difficult to transport and spoiled more easily than rum and whiskey. Rum distillers in the United States had been disrupted during the American Revolutionary War, and for factors described below, whiskey distribution and consumption increased after the Revolutionary War. Of course it would. These motherfuckers want to drink. They just got done kicking the biggest army out of the country, the biggest navy, the most dominant power on earth. They said, get the hell out of the country, and they wanted to drink. Okay. The whiskey tax became law in 1791 and was intended to generate revenue for the war debt, including during the Revolutionary War. The tax applied to all distilled spirits, but consumption of the U.S. whiskey was rapidly expanding in the late 18th century. So the excise became widely known as a whiskey tax. Farmers of the western frontier, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, were accustomed to distilling their surplus rye, barley, wheat, corn, and fermented grain mixtures to make whiskey. These farmers resisted the tax. In these regions, whiskey often served as a medium of exchange. Hey, I'll give you a quart of that whiskey right there for that chicken. Give me that chicken right there, and I want and I'll give you the whiskey. Many of the resistors were war veterans who believed that they were fighting for the principles of the American Revolution, in particular against taxation without local representation, while the federal government maintained that the taxes were the legal expression of congressional taxation power. So they're picking on the little guy out there in the frontier, the 1%, the little guy. Nobody's ever going to worry about them people being taxed out there, the whiskey distillers out there in the frontier. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Kentucky, Tennessee, that's way out there. Who cares about them? We're gonna tax them. Throughout western Pennsylvania counties, protesters used violence and intimidation to prevent federal officials from collecting the tax. Resistance came to a climax in July 1794 when a U.S. Marshal arrived in western Pennsylvania to serve writs to distillers who had not paid the tax. So they sent a U.S. Marshal out there to western Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, to get that tax. The federal government's going to get their money. Federal government's going to get their money. The alarm was raised, and more than 500 armed men attacked the fortified home of the tax inspector, General John Neville. Washington responded by sending peace commissioners to western Pennsylvania to negotiate with the rebels, while at the same time calling on governors to send a militia force to enforce the tax. George Washington. Dun, 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 sending the militia out to collect the tax. God bless George Washington, right? Yeah. All right. Here we go. Washington himself, and let me get off camera. Washington himself rode at the head of an army to suppress the insurgency with 13,000 militia provided by the governors of Virginia, Maryland, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. The rebels all went home before the arrival of the army, and there was no confrontation. About 20 men were arrested, but all were later acquitted or were pardoned. Most distillers in nearby Kentucky were found to be all but impossible to tax. In the next 6 years, over 175 distillers from Kentucky were convicted of violating the tax law. Numerous examples of resistance are recorded in court documents and newspaper accounts. The Whiskey Rebellion demonstrated that the new national government had the will and the ability to suppress violent resistance to its laws. Through the whiskey excise, though the whiskey excise remained difficult to collect, the events contributed to the formation of political parties in the United States, a process already underway. The whiskey tax was repealed in the early 1800s during the Jeffersonians. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Where I'm going with this is, where you have enforcement of a consumption tax, they can never get to the manufacturers. They can never get to the sellers. So what they try to do is they try to catch the person transporting said supplies. Bootleggers. This is where bootlegging came about. The federal government, man, had a tax on liquor. So in order to have a black market on the sale of whiskey and spirits, they would tuck the bottle of liquor in their boot while they were riding along on their horse. The federal agent would yank them up the horse and say, "Show me your papers. Who are you? What are you doing traveling this late at night on the road?" Damn straight they yanked you off your horse back in the 1700s. The federales. The federal agents. Do you see where I'm heading? Do I make sense? I'm just an idiot. I'm not very good at this. I'm just trying to throw myself back in the days of the whiskey tax, knowing that bootleggers came from this time. They had to transport it somehow. There was value in whiskey. The government said you can sell whiskey, but you have to have a tax stamp on it. You have to stamp every bottle that goes out that says you paid the tax. If you don't have that tax stamp on that bottle in your boot, then you are a bootlegger. Thank you, Laura Peterson. Do you see where I'm going? So, I'm thinking because okay, but I'm not quite convinced yet at this point. So, okay, I'm thinking, okay, let's go back. Let's go back to the ATF timeline. Okay, so now we have 1791. The Whiskey Rebellion, the taxation of the distilled spirits here in the United States. So let's follow this timeline of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. The Act of 1813, this act imposed taxes on imported spirits to offset debt from the Revolutionary War. These taxes proved financially beneficial for extremely unpopular. So, what happened was Jefferson relinquished the presidency. Jefferson said this whole entire taxation of the population based on this specific is unconstitutional. He repealed that tax. So as soon as he's gone, what do they do? What do these federales do? What do these federalists do? They impose the tax again. It sounds like who? I'm not a political show, but I am a political beast. I could talk up politics all day long, but that isn't what this show is about. This show is about the Constitution. And the subversion of the Constitution from the very get-go, from the very formation of this country, these federalists, these big bankers, have been trying to rip our civil rights away from us through these kinds of acts. The Act of July 24th, 1813, okay, they reimposed the tax. 1862, the Revenue Act creates the Office of Internal Revenue. Isn't this great? Within the Department of the Treasury, specifically to collect taxes. Okay. Lucrative tariffs and imports distilled spirits, tobacco products. Okay. Now, let's move forward. Okay, don't know what that's about. About organic milk and all of that. The War Revenue Act, 1917. We got to pay for them wars, folks. We have got to pay for them wars. Where do you get the revenue to pay for them wars? This act expands Bureau of Internal Revenue jurisdictions to include assessing taxes. Revenue agents assigned to the field of investigations. Okay, the important thing here is in 1913 there was called the Federal Treasury Act. And the Federal Treasury Act enacted for the Federal Reserve Bank, a central independent bank separate from the United States government, to lend the United States government money at interest. And that interest is going to be paid by your tax dollars. So that's why they needed to start passing these Internal Revenue Act to actually create the Internal Revenue Service. But here, right here, this right here in the history of policing, and you riding down the street on a horse, on a motorcycle, in a vehicle. Now, you remember, we've been talking about riding down the road. I hope you're still following me. We have crept into the regulation and taxation of alcohol and spirits. This right here is the motherlode of search and seizure case law that is still in effect today. The 18th Amendment, 1919, what a glorious day. Alcohol in the United States is banned. No longer are you allowed to have one drop to drink. So we've pretty much satisfied the fact that back in the day, you could be pulled over riding your horse and searched for bootleg whiskey. That was completely lawful, as long as there was probable cause and all the same verbiage was said back then about yanking you off of a horse or out of a buggy, searching your buggy, because I'm sure that they had containers, hidden containers in buggies that transported liquor. Just a matter of how many horsepower you have, right? All right. Yes, Carolina Auditor, you can call me when this is over. Okay. So now we have prohibition of alcohol, and I'm going to step into one piece of case law that is so important to understanding why they could pull you out of your car. It's so important to understanding why whenever you're pulled over by a police officer, that you have to do what they say. This is the premise behind checkpoints. Alcohol checkpoints that have mutated into ID checkpoints. This prohibition of alcohol and the searches and seizures from going back up to Terry versus Ohio are all premised on this act. Even though the 18th Amendment was repealed, even though the prohibition of alcohol was repealed, most of these laws that were implemented based upon the stop and search of vehicles for alcohol remain, but they just didn't say alcohol anymore on their laws. And I'll show you how. This case right here. Let me reshape and resize. Carroll versus the United States. March 1925. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly prescribed the place to be searched and the person or things to be seized. Section 25, Title 2 of the National Prohibition Act passed to enforce the 18th Amendment makes it unlawful to have or possess any liquor intended for use in violating the act. When the commissioner, his assistants, inspectors, or any officer of the law shall discover any person in the act of transporting in violation of the law, intoxicating liquors in any wagon, buggies, automobiles, water or aircraft, or other vehicles, it shall be his duty to seize any and all intoxicating liquors found therein being transported contrary to the law. Whenever intoxicating liquors transported or possessed illegally shall be seized by an officer, he shall take possession of the vehicle and team or automobile, boat, air or watercraft, or any other conveyance, and shall arrest any person in charge thereof. The section then provides that the court, upon conviction of the person to so arrested, shall order the liquor destroyed, and except for good cause shown, shall order a sale by public auction of the other property seized, and that the proceeds shall be paid into the Treasury of the United States. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the formation of moonshiners. Moonshiners, back before, when you would make whiskey or spirits, you can make it in your house. You can make it in your barn. You can make it close to home. Because there ain't nobody going to take your house if they catch you with it. But what this did is it forced people into the hills, further into the hills. Because if you're caught with it, then they can only seize the still itself and you. That's the start of civil forfeiture. That's exactly right. Okay. It appeared to the committee that the effects of the Senate, now here's what happened. When Prohibition was passed, the House wanted all of these laws that they could search and seize anybody for anything at any time. And the Senate said, hell no. So they were at conflict. And here's what the Senate said. Here's what they said about the debate. It appears to the committee that the effects of the Senate's amendment number 32, if agreed to by the House, would greatly cripple the enforcement of the National Prohibition Act and would otherwise seriously interfere with the government and the enforcement of many other laws, as its scope is not limited to the prohibition law, but applies equally to all laws where prompt action is necessary. There are on the statute books of the United States a number of laws authorizing search without a search warrant. Under the common law and the agreeable to the Constitution, search may in many cases be legal made without a warrant. The Constitution does not forbid search, as some parties contend, but it does forbid unreasonable search. See how they play with the words there? This provision is regarded in regard to search is as a rule contained in the various state constitutions, but notwithstanding that fact, search without a warrant is permitted in many cases, and especially is that true in the enforcement of liquor legislation. Okay. The House is saying, well, if we pass this amendment, that we ain't going to be able to do all the things that we can do. The Senate's amendment prohibits all search or attempted search on any property or premises without a search warrant. The effect of that would necessarily be to prohibit all search, as no search can take place if it is not on some property or premises. Eric Brandt, how are you doing today, sir? We are going over this great case, 1925, Burrell versus the United States, about prohibition and how the federal government can pull you over for any reason and yank you out of your car for any purpose and reason. And it's quite deep and in the weeds. Okay. Not only does this amendment prohibit search of any lands, but it prohibits the search of all properties. It will prevent the search of the common bootlegger and his stock in trade. Though caught and arrested in the act of violating the law, but what is perhaps more serious, it will make it impossible to stop the rum-running automobiles engaged in like illegal traffic. It would take from the officers the power that they absolutely must have to be of any service. For if they cannot search the liquor without a warrant, they might as well be discharged. It is impossible to get a warrant to a stopped automobile. Before a warrant could be secured, the automobile would be beyond the reach of the officers with its load of illegal liquor disposed of. So what they're saying is, well, we can't get a warrant for every car pullover because by that time the car would be in a different jurisdiction. It would speed away and we would never be able to find it again. So now that's the beginning of them being able to stop you off for this probable cause bullshit. This reasonable, articulable suspicion that you're in the process of committing a crime. It all started with prohibition of alcohol. Even though prohibition of alcohol was gotten rid of, it was stomped on. It was blown up. Prohibition is in the ash heap of history, but the laws live on. The searches and seizures of vehicles and people in them lives on. In these statutes and these laws. But see, now we have another prohibition. It is called the illegal sale and transportation of narcotics and drugs. Started off with whiskey and spirits. Now it has a black market effect on all of the other things. And they're trying to fight it by capturing the people traveling the roads. They can't catch the people that are manufacturing or growing or whatever they're doing. They can't catch the people that are the distributors, the sellers. But damn it, they're going to get you on the road with that little itty bitty bit on you. And these laws allow them to do it. Hey, Eric Brandt. Okay. I'm going to suspend myself here with this because I want to honor you, brother. I want to honor you, and I'm going to go. Here, let me get off camera. Wait. Here we go. We are entering into the Church of the Pastafarian, Pope Brandt the First. I am your first priest, the one and only, the most dedicated to your cause, Pastafarianism. Pastafarians unite. I knew this would come in handy years and years ago. For some reason, I made this 2 years ago, knowing that it would have meaning and purpose in my life. Thank you very much for inspiring me, brother, by just simply getting your driver's license. Who would have ever imagined? Ramen. Pope First of the Ramen Church, the Ramen Pastafarian Church. The Ramen Pastafarian Church. Yes. Let's all pray. And if you don't have a Pastafarian religious hat, All you have to do is go into the kitchen, get yourself some aluminum foil, punch some holes in it, and just wrap it around your head. You can then connect to the great Pastafarian gods. You never know. You might even get a signal from me or Eric. Ramen. Ramen. Everybody, ramen. Yes. Okay. See, the great thing about it is mine goes right into my temples. Look. All right. All right. I hope that I have done you homage. I have homaged you. Done you homage. I guess that's the way you could say it. Homaged you. Thank you, Eric Brandt, for being in my life. I thank you very much. And I got to say something else too. While we're here, and I don't know if anybody else. Well, I can't say it, but while I'm here, I just want to say this. San Joaquin Valley. San Joaquin Valley, you're my boy. I love you, brother, man. You were on fire the other night. I don't know what you were on, but you let us know. So what we need to do is we need to bring you into here. We need to bring you into here and just go ahead and pray with us. Ramen. Ramen. Just please. All right. Are you like getting tired of that or something? What the heck's the matter with you? Okay, let me get out of here. Back to the law library. All right. Here we are back in the law library. Yes, I agree, Laura Peterson. I am definitely ready for it. All right, we're back in the law library, and we were doing 1925 case on how the government's allowed to just yank you out of your car. And this case right here, it's very important. You have to understand the reason why I bring this case up. This case is like Cohen versus California is to the word buck. Right, Eric Brandt? This case right here, Carroll versus United States, what it did was it really solidified in the government that prohibition is really unconstitutional. But this case right here, a lot of the laws that they passed, that they enabled, that were enabled to be passed by prohibition, street laws and all of that have been passed on, and they haven't never been gotten rid of. Searches and seizures of anybody in their automobile should be illegal unless you have a warrant. Flat out. Just flat out. And here's the reason why. If you don't have a valid driver's license, what's the whole purpose of yanking you out of your car and all of that? You know, you have the license plate. You know, you have, I mean, there are ways to handle it other than searching and seizing you. We should be allowed to travel freely. We shouldn't actually have to have a driver's license at all. It pisses me off. We shouldn't have to drive down the road and be stopped at a checkpoint at 9 o'clock in the morning and hand over a driver's license. See, these kinds of laws led us to the Michigan State Troopers versus SITS, 1990. Michigan State Troopers versus SITS was the first Supreme Court case dealing with DUI checkpoints. DUI checkpoints is important, and this case was important because it dealt with prohibition of alcohol and all of that. And this case right here stems from all the other constitutional events that happened, the changing of our Constitution via the judiciary that enabled the taxation of a whiskey or a wine or a beer. It all fed off of each other itself. These incestuous taxation laws have actually reached in to our Bill of Rights and yanked the search and seizure provisions, Fourth Amendment, right out from underneath us. They've reached in. Just because we want to get to Burger King to get a freaking burger, we are going to be in the process of being forced out of our car because they think that we have some illicit substance on us, or that they smell something, or they run the dog around, or they could. It's unconscionable that they could do this, but it's the law. So, now I have all this highlighted, but it all has to do with the transportation of alcohol through boats and other vehicles. Yeah, this whole entire case dealt with so much. It dealt with so also the laws which provide for the search and seizure of articles and things which is unlawful for a person to have in his possession for the purpose of issue or disposition, such as counterfeit coin, lottery tickets, implements of gambling, etc., are not within this category. Okay, they get into the main purpose of the act, obviously, was to deal with the liquor and its transportation and to destroy it. The mere manufacture of liquor can do little to defeat the policy of the 18th Amendment and the Prohibition Act, unless the forbid product can be distilled for illegal sale and use. It goes on and on and on and on and on about searches and seizures and what they're allowed to do. Look at this. It goes on and on and on and on and on. I read it all, and it's just on and on. And, you know, the dissenting judges were spot on. The dissenting judges were like, this is total bullshit. You have to do what? When you get pulled over for why, and they could seize your car, and they could seize your bank account, and they could seize your house. How is that search and seizure? I mean, they have taken it to a new level with the drug enforcement laws. They have really taken it to another level, to the point where they incentivize police departments to go ahead and seize properties, and whenever they go ahead and at auction, they recoup the money. They recoup a good portion of that money. And there goes my my YouTube over here. I hope I'm still on. A little bit of a glitch. So I hope you dug what I did today. Got really into the weeds about horse drawn, whether a horse is a vehicle, whether they could just go ahead and yank you off your horse and detain you back in the day. Oh, I got a mod beach. All right. I'm going to end with this. Corral versus the United States. Read it. Very interesting read. All right. Carroll versus the United States. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, Beach. Oh, you're talking to Laura? Yes, my court date is March 30th. I got it all lined up. You don't understand. I got it all lined up. It's beautiful. It's actually really beautiful because here in North Carolina, they just had a court case, and it's right here, 2020. It's a beautiful case. It's called State of North Carolina, United States Supreme Court, North Carolina versus Ellis. Okay. And it has to do with the lunchtime, 2017, a few days after a significant snowstorm. Trooper Paul Stevenson of the North Carolina State Trooper Highway Patrol was flagged down in Stanley County by a stranded motorist who had run out of gas. Temperatures were below freezing, and Trooper Stevens stopped to help. Trooper Stevens called for an officer with the Albemarle Police Department to help him render aid to the motorist. Officer Adam Torres arrived on the scene. Both Trooper Stevens and Officer Torres said their blue lights were activated while their patrol cars were positioned on the side of the road. While assisting the stranded motorist, Trooper Stevens turned in his attention to another car traveling on the roadway. The defendant, a passenger in a small white SUV, and his arm was outside of the window and was making a back and forth motion, right? With his hand. As Trooper Stevens turned back to look towards the car, defendant's gesture changed from a waving motion to a pumping up and down motion with his middle finger extended. Middle finger was extended, believing the defendant was committing the crime of disorderly conduct. Trooper Stevens got into his patrol car in hot pursuit of the criminal in that SUV. And I'll tell you what happened. Officer Stevens noted that there was no violation of traffic laws. He didn't see him weaving, swerving, or anything after he pulled him over. It was a female driving the car, and he ordered her to give her her ID. She resisted a little bit, but then gave it to him. Then he ordered the passenger to give him his ID. He refused. He got arrested. This went up to the circuit, the state. It was sent to trial. He was convicted. It went up to appeal in the state courts, and it was upheld, and then it was appealed up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ruled in this case that they had no probable cause because it was his First Amendment right to freedom of speech based upon Houston versus Hill, based upon Cohen versus California, based upon another case here in North Carolina in 2019, that it is not disorderly conduct to flip the cop a bird. So I am covered in my case. I have it covered with North Carolina Supreme Court case law. I said to the officer, get the fuck out of here. That cannot be deemed disorderly according to this case alone. So my court date is coming up on March 30th. I did not file for motion to dismiss or any of that because I just want to get in there, I guess. I want to get my courtroom acumens back up to just feel the feeling of being in the courtroom again. If it goes that far, I think that they'll drop it. I think they won't even show up, and I think that I'll get out of there, and then I'll have to file for an expungement of my Not after all the phone calls they got? Do you think they'll be there? I don't think so, man. I think that the sheriff, no, because remember I went back down to the detention center, and I got trespassed from there. And I told the sheriff deputy that I'd be back next week, and he said, I'll be here next week too. He said, you'll be arrested. I said, well, I'll see you next week. I went back next week, and he wasn't there. That was Mayor, yeah. No, I'm completely, utterly prepared for my case. I mean, it really nonsensically stupid. If anybody brings this case, and of course, the other charge I was charged with was trespassing on railroad right-of-way. I wasn't on railroad right-of-way. I was at a crossing. Ding, 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 ding. The lights come down on the big fucking poles that tells you not to cross. That's the whole purpose of that being there. So I cannot be trespassed from the place where you actually have to cross. So then I'll be tossed out. I can't even believe, well, I can believe because I can believe that they'd charge you because the magistrate wasn't there. And I guess you could envision that I was walking up and down the railroad tracks, even though there wasn't a representative of the railroad tracks there to trespass me. But that's all speculation. That all never happened. All right, I'm going back to the living room, and then I'm going to get out of here. Back to the living room. All right, back in the living room. Let's get out of here. I said, let's get out of here. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Let me run down the list of people that were here. Laura Peterson, thank you. Racing Randy, thank you very much. Carolina Auditor, call me, man. Eric Brandt, the great Eric Brandt. Oh, let me get me on the screen here. The great Eric Brandt. Gage, thank you very much, Gage. I know that there were other people on here. Tam, the man, and Don Mazia. I did not see you come in, Don. I apologize if I missed you. HPR News. Yes, we're going to have to get together. I'm thinking about you, brother. Lion One, you're awesome. Thank you very much. Let's see. Is there anybody else? Then Blue Line Slayer. Yeah, I didn't say. Oh yes, behind the Siege, Carolina. No, I don't think that North Carolina has online trials. No, not North Carolina. You're not allowed to take any phones or anything like that unless you're going to use like a laptop or whatever. But I'm not going to take any video. I'm not. I mean, I'm not going to take any video. What's the sense of taking video? They'll have video. If they don't, they're stupid. And if they do bring video, they're stupid too. Because it's just what my video shows and what their video shows the same is that the man violated my rights. Simple as that. It's all about one word, F-U-C-K. You don't need no video to argue that. You just don't need any video. All testimony. I'll get his testimony. And case law right here. But I'll offer that case law whenever I argue my side. All right, I'm out of here. Thank you very much. I hope I didn't get too far into the weeds with the tutelage and the education of the 1979 Judicial Act. All right, see y'all later. Bye.